Hello, my friend, today's story will not only teach you English, but also inspire you to keep going. In every story, there's a word to learn, and a feeling to remember. So stay with me, and if you find this story helpful, don't forget to like, share, or hit that little subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow, just like you're growing every day. Now, take a deep breath, and let's step into today's story, one small moment, one big lesson. Act as a creative English teacher and storyteller who helps beginner and intermediate learners improve their English through inspiring, easy-to-understand stories. You live in a quiet town by the sea. The waves speak more than people. The wind carries memories instead of noise. At 87, you know this rhythm. You live alone in a small wooden house, where every floorboard remembers someone's footsteps. Your days are simple. You water the flowers. You sweep the porch. You boil green tea in your favorite blue kettle. Life is quiet, but not lonely. Still, something inside feels unfinished, like a book with one page missing. One rainy afternoon, as you clean the old cabinet, your hand touches a thin, folded paper. A letter. The edges are soft, the ink a little faded. It's written in English. You hold it close. Your hands shake slightly, not from fear, but from the weight of time. The letter is from someone you once loved deeply. Someone who moved far away. Someone you never fully understood, because the letter was never read. You tried once, years ago. But you folded it back, whispering, "Too late for me." But now, something inside says, "Why not now?" You sit by the window. The sound of rain is soft. You unfold the letter again. This time, you decide, you will learn. You will learn to read it, word by word, even if it takes the rest of your life. That night, you take your first notebook. You write the word, hello. Below it, you write what it means in Japanese. Then the word, love. Then, remember. You are not fast. Your fingers move slowly. Your eyes get tired. But something in your heart begins to glow, something warm, like a candle in a quiet room. The next morning, you walk to the small store and ask for an English dictionary. The young clerk looks surprised, but smiles. "Is it for your grandchild?" he asks. You smile back. "No. It's for me." You begin to listen to English every day. You turn on a simple podcast, just to hear the rhythm. You don't understand all the words. But you catch some, morning, beautiful, letter. You repeat them slowly. Sometimes you whisper them while folding laundry. Sometimes you write them on little pieces of paper and stick them on the wall. Chair, door, thank you, goodbye. Every word feels like a tiny bridge. And the bridge leads to the letter. And the letter leads to something deeper, not just memory, but connection. You begin talking to yourself in the mirror. "My name is," you say. Then laugh. It feels silly, but you keep going. One night, you call your neighbor's son. He teaches a little English in town. You ask, "Can you help me, just a little?" He comes over with flashcards. You hold them like treasure. He teaches you slowly. "This is, friend, dot." You repeat, "Friend." You smile. And then, for the first time in years, you read the first line of the letter out loud. It says, "Dear Aiko." Your name. It speaks to you from across the sea, across time. Your heart beats louder. You are still here. You can still learn. You can still answer. You've been at this for a few months now, slowly making progress. Each word feels like a victory, no matter how small. You find yourself repeating the words, even when you don't have anyone around to hear them. It's like your heart is speaking a new language, a language you're beginning to understand. One morning, while you're preparing breakfast, you hear a knock on the door. You open it to find a young woman standing there, holding a basket of fruits. "Good morning, Aiko-san," she greets you with a warm smile. You smile back, but for a moment, you hesitate. "Good morning," you say. You're not sure what comes next, but you want to try. "How are you?" you ask in slow, careful English. The woman looks at you with a bit of surprise, then nods. "I'm good, thank you. How about you?" For a few seconds, you both just stand there, smiling, neither of you quite sure where to go from there. Then, she points to the basket. "I brought you some apples. I know you love them." You take the basket, but inside, there's a quiet joy. You've just had your first real conversation in English. It was small, yes, but it was real. And you feel something shift inside you. The world doesn't seem so big anymore. You can reach it, step by step, word by word. As the weeks go by, you continue practicing. The young man from the neighborhood comes by a few times a week to teach you more English. He brings new lessons, new words to learn. You start listening to English songs, songs with simple words and beautiful melodies. You love the rhythm of it all, the rise and fall of the words, the way they sound like music. One evening, you're sitting by the window, listening to a soft tune on your radio. You can't understand every word, but you know the song is about hope. The word catches your attention. You write it down, and later that night, you look it up in your dictionary. Hope. The feeling of waiting for something good to happen. It's a word that means something to you, especially after all these months of effort. You've learned so much, but the journey isn't over yet. You close your eyes and smile. You can hear the song in your mind again. You can almost feel the hope too. The next day, you decide to go outside. It's a beautiful day, and you want to practice your English. You walk to the park, where you've seen a few tourists before. They sit on benches, reading or enjoying the sun. You approach one of them, a man sitting with a camera. He looks up and smiles at you. You take a deep breath. "Excuse me," you say in English. "Can you tell me what time it is?" The man looks surprised, but his smile deepens. "It's 2:30, he says, nodding. "Are you okay?" You nod back, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face. It's just another small moment, another step forward. But it feels like a big step, too. You're doing it. You're speaking, you're learning, you're living. As you walk home, the words play in your mind. "Thank you, Aiko-san," the woman had said that day at the door. Those words, simple but full of gratitude, are now part of you. You know that learning a language is not just about words. It's about connection. It's about understanding others, and maybe, just maybe, understanding yourself a little better too. It's been over a year now since you first started your English journey. Looking back, it feels like a lifetime of effort and small victories. You've faced challenges, moments of doubt, and frustration, but you've also experienced growth. The world feels a little smaller now. You know, now more than ever, that there's no limit to what you can achieve. One afternoon, you're sitting with your tea, thinking about the past months. The young man from the neighborhood is coming over to help with more lessons. You've become close friends, sharing not just words but stories. Today, he's bringing you something special, a piece of a dream you didn't even know was possible. "Guess what, Aiko-san," he says excitedly as he sits down beside you. "I have a job for you." You raise your eyebrows. "A job?" you ask, a little confused. He nods, a grin on his face. "There's a small group of tourists visiting the town next week. They need a guide. I thought, why not you? You know this place better than anyone, and your English has improved so much. You can show them around." For a moment, you're silent. The idea of being a guide feels like a dream, something so big, so far out of reach. But then, as the words sink in, something inside you changes. You feel a rush of excitement and nervousness. Why not? You think. After all, this is what you've been working toward, the ability to connect with others in a language you've come to love. The next week arrives, and you meet the group of tourists at the town square. They're standing near a statue, chatting excitedly in English. You stand off to the side, watching them, trying to calm the nerves bubbling inside. You've practiced this moment so many times in your mind, but now it's real. As you walk over to introduce yourself, you remember the first time you tried speaking English. You were so shy, so unsure. But now, the words come more easily. You say, "Hello, everyone. My name is Aiko. I will be your guide today." The group looks at you, smiling warmly. One of them says, "Nice to meet you, Aiko. We're excited to see the town." You take a deep breath and begin the tour. You lead them to the park, past the small cafe by the river, and to the old temple that's been there for hundreds of years. As you speak, you notice that your words are flowing more naturally. You use the new words you've learned, pointing out landmarks, explaining history, and even telling a few funny stories about your town. The tourists listen attentively, and their smiles give you confidence. You make jokes, point out hidden gems, and answer their questions. For the first time, you're not just speaking English because you have to, you're speaking because you want to, because you have something to share. As the tour comes to an end, the group claps. You feel a rush of pride in your chest. "Thank you, everyone," you say, smiling widely. "I hope you enjoyed the tour." One of the tourists comes forward. "You did an amazing job, Aiko. Your English is excellent, and you're such a great guide. We had so much fun." You bow your head slightly, humbled by the compliment. "Thank you," you say, your voice filled with emotion. "Thank you for believing in me, for helping me get here." Walking home that evening, the sun setting behind you, you realize something profound. This isn't just about English anymore. It's about more than words. It's about how far you've come, how much you've grown. You think back to that day when you first asked the tourist for the time, and how far you've come since. You think about all the hours spent practicing, all the mistakes, and all the moments that made you stronger. Now, you're standing in the middle of your own dream, guiding others and speaking the language that once felt so distant. You've come full circle. And as you walk, the world seems just a little bit brighter. How do you feel about trying something new, like speaking in another language? What steps can you take to make your dreams come true?